Okay, this is Information Security Management. The book is Management of Information Security. And we're not going to show that. And we're just going to do this. I did it a different way for a reason, but okay. So, Chapter 1, Introduction to Management of Information Security. Okay, we're going to cover a lot of topics. You can read all the objectives, but everybody knows what information technology is, I hope, at this point. Yeah. And if hopefully I don't just read slides to you. I always try to add a lot to it. But IT has been growing. Jobs in IT are huge. Y'all in the Cyber Club? In the Cyber Club D2L page? If you're not, you need to let me know to add you, because I posted two job offers this weekend. I think the Oklahoma City Zoo is looking for somebody, and Boeing's looking for somebody. But there's the jobs out there. There's lots and lots of them in IT. Okay. Computer security has been replaced by information security, which is now being replaced by cybersecurity. It's like we have a certification in information assurance here at Rose State. Now it's been renamed to cybersecurity because that kind of encompasses the whole entire thing. Now there's a few things in this book. This book is actually from 2014, which you would think is fairly new. It is, but there's still some stuff in here that is a little bit outdated. But I'll do my best to let you know stuff that are outdated. Okay. So it says covers a broad range, protecting your information to people, to everything. Just protect everything. Okay. Every employee. It says, I don't know if I agree with that last one. It really pertains to everybody's responsibility. Everybody, especially managers. No, that's literally everyone. I would have stopped the sentence there. Yeah, managers need to be involved, but employers are just as important. For instance, Dr. Hendricks, our Associate VP of Academics here at Rose State, sent an email out last Friday. It was bogus. She clicked the link and got a virus, and it sent an email to everybody every faculty and staff on campus saying, this is the IT department. Your mail needs to be upgraded. Click here to upgrade your mail. Well, she clicked it, and then it sent it out to everybody. So it really did go to every single person on campus. That's why it says, not only man, it's really just everybody. They should have stopped there. Okay. Yeah, it's I ran a consulting business for years, and the I love you virus, pain. The good thing was it was very easy to fix. It was really rename a couple files, delete a couple files. So I ended up writing a script, and for my clients I took care of, I actually put the script on their desktops. That's why whenever they called me, I'm like, click the script on your desktop. Aaron cleaned it, because it's stupid. It's just stupid. Okay. So security funding. Funding is a big issue. I was up in, where was I? I've been to a lot of conferences. I think I was up at the NIST headquarters in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And they were talking about funding, and one guy was talking about how they do funding. What they do is the school gets their budget. Right off the top, they fund IT. Whatever's required for IT, they fund it, and then they work out the rest of the money. I've never heard of a place do that. Like here, you have like the bills and salary and all, and then IT gets a portion. But what do you think of their planning of funding IT fully and then everything else?
Smart one.
I like it, especially since I'm in that field. But I can imagine other fields aren't so happy. But think about it. Did y'all get the email about the new alert system we have here? Rave, I guess it's called. Y'all should have got multiple of those. Well, last semester, was anyone here when there was actually shooting on campus? Well, across the street, a guy was robbing a house or something. And the cops came at like 2 in the morning, and they started chasing him, and actually ran through our campus, and on the far side of the wellness center, actually got shot by a cop. So it really wasn't a shooting. It was a shooting on campus, but you knew what I mean. It was just because he was running through the campus. Well, we went to send everybody alert. Oh, no one paid the bill for our alert system. Seriously, that's exactly what happened. And man, did people freak out. Because what do you see? Literally, I came in at 6 in the morning. There's helicopters and what's going on? And students starting. Everybody's like, why didn't we get notification it was a shooting? Well, it was a shooting, but it wasn't a shooting. So now we have this new system. But that's my point. If we had made sure every bill was paid up front, we wouldn't have that problem. Okay, so funding decisions should involve 3 distinct groups. Okay, security community. There's actually a community called InfraGard. I don't know if you ever heard of it. They do talk about it later on. But InfraGard is actually the FBI. Has a group of people you can join, by the way. Just go to InfraGard, INFRAGUARD. Search for that. You can join. And it's a way for the FBI to get the word out quicker. Code Red virus came out years ago. But when the Code Red virus first came out, the FBI was able to let everybody know through InfraGard that this virus was coming to, it was started in Asia, was about to hit the U.S., and all the big organizations were able to change their IPs before the virus actually hit, so really no one got hit for the most part. Okay, so it's a way of the FBI to get the interest, to get the information out. And they have to have conferences and all kinds of, and it's free. You can do that. So security community. I mean, there's DEF CON. Black Hat, all those. I'm going to, now it's called Infuse. This year is the Guidance Software Security Conference in May. I'm going there, and I'm going to actually a couple different ones. And yeah, actually some of them might interfere with this course, but I'll let you know about that. But there's technology communities, there's business communities, and the good thing about it all this is people are starting to realize this security is an issue. They are, which is good. Okay.
You going to B-Sides?
What else?
You going to B-Sides?
No, I'm not. No. I'm going in April. I'm going to CCFP training. Y'all know what CISSP is? Y'all heard of that? Okay, I have that certification. It's probably the best one you can get. Well, they now brought on a forensic certification as well, so I'm going to go get that one. Then I'm going to go to a reverse engineering class. This because we have a new degree program, I'm going to CISI. Then I'm going to Infuse, and I think those are the only ones at the moment. But they let me know what I can go to for funding. Okay, so what the heck is security? It says the quality or state of being secure. Okay. I talk about it in another class, but security is a binary concept. In other words, is that door secure right now? No, it's open. So if I shut it and it was locked, it would then be. So really, see, you are secure or you aren't secure. Okay. It says the quality or state of being secure, free from danger. But just because you're secure, does that mean you're free from danger? Not necessarily. Someone could bust down the door. I was actually reading an article about it, I think last night. Anyone ever put a door lock on their house? The little plate you put on the door frame? You know how it comes with a little 3/4 of an inch screw? Why? I never thought of that. I'm like, you're a good point. Why is that on there with a 3/4 inch screw? So the guy recommends he replace it with a 4-inch screw. That way it goes through the door frame and actually into the stud of the house. Because the biggest issue when someone's trying to kick down a door is they kick the door and that plate, the only metal part, breaks right off, and then it's just a piece of wood that snaps right off. But if it's hooked all the way into the stud, it makes a great idea. So it was secure, but was it really that secure? Okay, so to be secure is to be protected from the loss of risk, damage, unwanted modification, or other hazards. Again, this stuff changes all the time. We got a hazard right here. Literally, I have a cord right here. I got to walk over it. Stupid, but we have one. Okay. It's often achieved by means of several strategies undertaken simultaneously. So, here on campus, we have physical security. That's our cops. They lock our doors. What the heck did you call it? See, that's the Sonic people when they go to Sonic. I can wait. So we have physical security here on campus. And then we have, doors and stuff. Then we have our computers with logins and stuff like that. Did y'all see the new wireless, by the way? Y'all should be able to connect to the new wireless. It seems to be better. The public is not giving an address for some reason. It's doing intermittently. But it seems to be quicker. But you guys should be able to log into the Rose private as well. So it's multiple layers. We have our physical security, then we have our our computer security, and we can go on from there. We also have policies in place, which we'll talk more about later. Okay, so we have several different layers all working at the same time. Oh, geez, stop. You must really want to talk to me. Hold on, let me silence this. Stop. All right. It says management role is to ensure this strategy is properly planned, organized, staffed, directed, and controlled. I agree with that statement. It's up to management to make sure it happens. If management does not force it, it might not happen. But again, they are not the only player. It should actually be everybody. Uh, a problem with that area, though, um, you know, it's like we have secretaries here on campus. It's like most of you work and have secretaries. Are they normally highly trained in IT? They're normally not. And it's really an issue sometimes getting someone who doesn't know IT to actually help enforce some of these things. Like, don't click on an email. Yet, what happens? They still click on the email. Have they been trained in it? Yes, but again, what level, are they actually understanding? Okay. Okay, here's physical security, protecting people, protecting assets, workplace. Tinker, y'all know where Tinker is, across the street. Some of you might even work there. Did you know for years on the south side, off Douglas, that fence was down, literally for years? It was literally laying on the ground. You could have walked right across. Isn't that nice? And, I always think it's funny is July 4th, what happens on Tinker? They have the big 4th of July, everybody come on Tinker and see all the planes. And how do they get those people back off? What if you're a bad guy? You can literally come on with the crowds and hide somewhere. So I always wonder about how do they get them back off? Because they don't give you an escort. So I just think it's weird. Okay. All right. So all this is to protect us against varying threats, fire, unauthorized access, natural disasters, so on and so forth. The operationals is protection to carry out operational activities without interruption, make sure things still work. Okay, communications, obviously that's our phone systems. Network security, protect our network, wireless or wired or whatever. Okay, it's a bunch of different aspects of it. Okay, information security, we have this wonderful picture, and there was actually an assignment based on that, but I don't do that anymore. But you see it talks about policies. Policies, I don't like policies, okay, but they're a necessary evil. Okay, how do you all generate your password? Did anyone use a password management tool? There's one out there called LastPass, which if you don't use, you need to. It's great because I log in with one big long password, but then it manages all my other passwords. It's like my Facebook, my Twitter, my Gmail, all those are 30 random characters. You're never going to be able to get them. And now I also use something on top of that, which is two-factor authentication. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay. Even if you were to get my username and password, you need a code to get into my Gmail account, for instance, or my LastPass account. And this code's only good for 60 seconds. So we give about 30 seconds here. What happens is, so when I log into Gmail with the username and password, then I have to supply this code, which is only good for 1 minute. Yes?
Valve recently implemented that on Steam.
Oh, no. And Rose State's supposed to be implementing it next month. So here you go. What? They all should have just changed.
Google Authenticator.
Yep. Google Authenticator is the same one. This is actually called STP. The reason I like it is because it actually works with my watch as well. Because so many times I'll be at home, the phone's charging in the office or in the bedroom, and I need to get on something, and I can get the code right off my watch this way. But policies, as you can see, it overlays all of them. Okay. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You will hear that in every class. You will actually be tested on that in many classes. So many people still get it wrong. Okay? We're actually going to talk about each one of those. But confidentiality, integrity, and availability, really big issue here. Okay, it says that includes the systems, the hardware, store, transmit information. Confidentiality is, like your student records. Do you really want everybody else to see your grades? No. Integrity, are they the right grades? First of all, no one went in and modified them. And availability, now with the internet, what happens when the internet goes down? We have a heart attack. So availability is a really big deal. That was, probably 2 years ago now. I remember Rose State went down for like hours. We couldn't do anything. What I had was I just tethered my office computer to my cell phone. So I was able to still enroll people and everything because it was just our building that was down. So it was amazing. Steve and everybody kept coming into my office to use my computer to take care of stuff. Because availability, that's a big deal. Okay. This is something that's changed. The CNSS security model. We offer CNSS certifications here at Rose State. We offer 3 of them. There used to be 6, but they're going away and they're no longer renewing them. So you can still get 3, you just can't get the other 3 anymore because once they expire, we can no longer renew them. It's basically a system where They looked at what we teach, how we taught it, and approved our curriculum here. Okay, so it's called the NSTISSI or CNSS is the acronym. It was initially NSTISSI, but then was replaced with CNSS. Okay, it's a standard. It's a grouping of material, a grouping of topics that need to be covered. The reason the initial system was being changed was the original plan was there's 4011 through 16, CNSS 4011 through 16. But in 4011 they talk about Tempest. Some of you might know what Tempest is, but Tempest is terminal emulation protection. In other words, a CRT monitor, that's the old cathode ray tube, the one that looked like a big television. The old CRT monitors, you could actually pick up and read the screen from a mile away. Because they emulated, you have to take 2 blow pops for that.
It's Roy's fault.
Okay, so with terminal emulation, you can see it from a mile away. How many people have CRT monitors nowadays? Nobody does. Hipsters. So the plan was to redo the 4011 through 16 to become 4021 through 26. But like terminal emulation, we really don't need anymore because out of the entire federal government, there was 100 people that do that, and that's it. So why train everybody? Why train millions of people for something that very few are doing? So that was the original plan, to redo them, but then they just disappeared. Just because funding, believe it or not, is the reason why. Okay? So there talks about CIA with policies, and it just talks about the technologies behind it, and it was a great model.
So is it 3 of the 6 are going away, or all 6?
Okay, all 6 are going away.
When is the
June 2017, the last 3 will be gone.
Okay, so you still get it. This.
Right. Again, what it is, see, the government had to assign, had to have an entire organization in charge of this.
Right.
And we had to go there and submit, like, for instance, 4011, there was about maybe 2,000 items. Like, I had to say Tempest. Where did I talk about Tempest? I had to say an RJ45 connector. How did I explain that? So I had to say RJ45 is taught in CIT 1503 when we build the network cable. So I had to explain where all these 2,000 items were taught. So then they had to evaluate all that, make sure we did everything correctly, evaluate our syllabuses, evaluate all of our content, and then issue the certificates to us.
Right.
So you can see how there's a lot of work on their end. And the government had no money. So they're like, if we get rid of this program, all those people that were doing this is now gone. So what they did is they actually made a workforce document, basically, which I don't have the link with me today, but where you can actually, as an employer now, so 4016 is risk analyst. In the past, the government would say, we need someone to work on risk. So we want to hire someone with 4016 certification. Easy enough. Now, if you want to hire someone to work about risk, you can no longer say 4016. Well, you can for now, but shortly you can't. Now you have to go to this website and say, we need to hire someone with a risk, and they tell you all 8,000 things that person should know. So now HR, instead of saying, we have a job opening for a risk analyst with the CNS, they need to say, job opening risk analyst with all 8,000 skills.
So is it...
Sucks.
So until that period of closure in 2017,
right.
For me, that somebody is looking at my Security Plus and
right.
others, is it still worth getting it before the window shuts so I can still officially list it on my
Okay.
certifications?
First of all, you can always list them, and if it's an organization knows what they are, yeah, it's a great thing. It's just that the government is no longer allowing us to issue them anymore. Okay? It's one of those deals. I have an MCSE. Okay, I don't do anything with it, but I have one.
Right.
I have Novell certification. When's the last time you all saw Novell? Some of you probably have never seen Novell. So,
You say Nobel or Novell?
Novell.
He's a Nobel laureate.
Yeah, no,
from Sweden.
Nobel, Novell Networks. Point is, it's always good to list everything. And
But I mean, but just by completing the...
by the completing degree, you get it.
Oh, it's not an additional...
Well, as long as it's complete degree, and I think you have to pick certain electives.
Okay.
As long as you pick the correct electives, then you get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was a...
No,
test like
it's
plus.
there's no test afterwards. Literally, complete the degree with the correct electives, and you get it. If you want our website, cybersecurity.rose.edu, it tells you about it. There's even a link exactly which classes to take. So, all right. So, again, this is going away. I kind of talked about CNSS quite a bit. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about CIA. They have this thing called the triangle. They're not going to show us a picture. Well, maybe they will in a second. But the confidentiality, integrity, and availability forms a triangle. You really can't. Can you imagine if we had confidentiality but no integrity or availability? What good would that be? Or no integrity but we have the other two. So they all work together. So let's talk about each one first of all. Okay. Only those with sufficient privileges and a demonstrated need may access it. So when I was in the military, I had a secret clearance. So did that mean I could go anywhere and read any secret document in the entire military?
No.
Well, if I had a need, I could, because I had the secret clearance.
But your secret clearance is only good for certain parts.
Right, because I wouldn't have a need for that. Now, I could have very easily got it upgraded. Say I moved to a new facility, new area, need access. Yeah, they could very easily say, oh, he has the required certification. Now he can see that.
Unless you're a network administrator in Hawaii.
Yeah, well, it's a whole nother story. Okay, but, all right, so confidentiality. Only those who have permission should be able to view it, okay? And a lot of people, I don't know if they talk about it in here. Disposal is another thing. You know, we talk about information technology and secure documents and storage of them. What about disposal of them? Okay. Here at Rose State, we still print out a class roster with all student IDs and everything. I think it's stupid. Why do that anymore? But, you know, so how do I dispose of that?
Shred it.
It doesn't tell me I have to. Would y'all be okay if I just literally just threw it in the trash can and left it somewhere? Hopefully not. It's got all your student IDs on it. Okay? But it pertains to a lot of components. Integrity says the quality or state of being whole, complete, and unobtrusive. In other words, your grades have not been modified. That kind of, your paycheck is what it's supposed to be. Okay? Availability, only those who have access or are authorized have access to it. And make sure it's available for use when needed. Did they say that? Yeah, without interference or obstruction. Now, with everything being web-based, you know, when something goes down, that causes a really big issue. Okay? Privacy. Okay? It says information will be used only in ways approved by the person who provided it. Okay? You know the whole Privacy Act of 1974? You all might have heard of that at one point. It actually talks about it in the book. But privacy, the Privacy Act specifically says if a social security number is written on a piece of paper, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, do you know what the disposal requirements are? Rip it into 4 pieces. So if your social security number is written on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I rip it in 4 pieces, what's the odds that you can still read it? 99.9%. So, you know, it's tough. But, you know, it says in here, people sell, swap. You ever see when you go to a website, we do not sell your information. Bogus.
It's
Most.
Not, it technically is trading selling.
There you go. That's a good point. Okay. Identification, who you are. You know, y'all heard of the Right ID Act? If you haven't heard, I'm going to tell you right now. Our driver's license sucks. We have 1 year to fix it, or you will no longer be used a driver's license to fly on an airplane. The main reason is the way we store them. You know, I'm from Connecticut. You go to DMV, you take a test, you pass it, you get your license. You do not go to a vacuum cleaner salesman to get your license. Y'all notice some of our tag agencies are in vacuum cleaner stores? Literally, downtown it's in a vacuum cleaner store. What kind of security does a vacuum cleaner store have to protect our driver's license? Oh, none. Okay? So they have a year to fix it. And the funny thing was, Oklahoma was told like 2 years ago, we got grant money to help you fix it. No, we're okay, we're not interested. Now we have to fix it. Because there's like 15 states that aren't going to be able to use their IDs.
Missouri's one of them too.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that aren't. And, you know, I'm okay. I have a federal ID because I'm retired military. But the rest of y'all, you're going to go on an airplane and be like, what's this thing? This means nothing to me. Give me real ID. Give me passport or something. So, but they have a year to fix it. So who knows? Maybe they'll put vaults in our vacuum cleaner stores. That drove me crazy. On first week, I'm like, I literally passed this test, and I'm going to a vacuum cleaner store to get my ID. Why? That makes no sense to me.
The one on Classen is also like a EPS or something like that.
It's like,
So-
why? Why not? Why am I not passing a test? And when they give me the test, instead of giving me that stupid paper to take to attach, just give me the license right then. Does that not make sense to you? Put a camera there, pass test, instead of hand me paper, hand me license. Done. Solve the entire problem. I realize I would have to go back there to get it renewed. So get rid of all these 4,000 tag agencies and put them all, make the DMV 4 times larger.
Oh, that sounds ideal.
I mean, heck, if you look at the one on I-240, it's in an old car dealer place. They have plenty of room in there to add more desks. But it would be something, I don't know, it's stupid. Okay, so privacy is a big deal. Identification is another big deal. We have to have ways of identifying people. Okay, we are changing the way we do it here on campus. Your IDs will be replaced. I cannot guarantee they'll be replaced while you're still here. But before long, they'll be using RFID and all the door locks will be changed and stuff like that. It's happening slowly around campus. So that way, you know, Ken Dewey needs access to a building. They could literally program Ken Dewey's access to this door at 11 o'clock on Mondays, and that's the only time I can open it. So they are working on that. Okay. Authentication. Process in which a control establish whether a user has an identification. A lot of times you use passwords for that. Okay. Sometimes it, you know, can be something else. Could be cryptography, or like I showed you, that two-factor authentication. And you need to start using that. Not everybody supports it, but a lot more and more places are. And it's a little bit of a hassle. But, you know, I went on a cruise, no cell reception, and my authenticator still worked to log in to my account. So that was my biggest issue. What if I go outside the country? How am I going to get it when I don't have a cell phone on? Still works. So it works great. Okay, cryptographic certificates. And you notice when you go to log into our Rose stuff, a lot of times the certificate says it's invalid, especially with my vSphere. It's because we manage them in-house, which I don't think is a great idea for the email or the wireless, but you know, it's not up to me. Okay, authorization. Just because I have an account at Rose State, does that mean I'm authorized to walk into the server room and start messing with the servers? Probably not. Okay. Says the process defines what an authorized user has been specifically authorized by the proper authority to do. Okay. I have local admin on my machine. I'm one of the very few faculty. I'm actually the first faculty who ever got it. It's funny because I originally asked Rose State, could I have local admin on my machine? And guess what they told me? No. I said, well, it seems that Rose State, at the point we got Dell as our computer system, and to get a discount on computers, they had to provide proof that they had A+ certified technicians on campus. We had 2 of them, me and Arlene. So I said, so you're getting a discount based on my certification. So technically, I should be the one working on computers and you're not. And they said, sure, when would you like your access? Immediately? Is that good enough? I said, thank you. And I've had it ever since. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I teach it. Hopefully I knew what I was doing. But again, who is authorized to do what? Okay? Hopefully Heather here, you probably have more access on some machines than a lot of people because you're a work study upstairs. Okay? Now, if Heather leaves the work study, obviously they should take away that access. Okay? Easy enough. Accountability. We're actually having this problem right now today. I don't know if you all knows when I first came in here, but it told me my credentials. According to IT services, I have not logged in this network since December 22nd. I don't know about you, I'm kind of logged in right now. So they're still trying to fix it. While I'm in class today, they were disjoining my machine and rejoining because it looks like there's somehow the trust between my machine got corrupt, which I could understand. But this isn't my work machine, so why did I get the issue in here? I don't know. But they're trying to fix that because Brad actually pulled up the list and Ken Dewey hasn't logged in since December. So something's screwy. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Management, who's in charge of all this? You know, when IT first came around, computers first came around, was management even worried about it? No, they really didn't care. Okay? But now management is a direct part of it, so hopefully they're a lot more involved. Roles, we have the informational role. In other words, they should collect, process, use it to make decisions. Okay. Interpersonalist is interacting with superior subordinates, outside stakeholders, and other parties that influence or are influenced by the completion of a task. I don't know if they talk about it here, but there's something called baselines. Some of you might have heard of the word baseline before. A lot of times, you know, a lot of stuff we do is somebody else does it, then you copy what they do. You get an idea from outside agencies, you know, how to do stuff better. Okay. Okay, decisional rules is selecting from among alternative approaches. So we have a choice of buying AVG, which is free, or the current system, the endpoints or forefront we have now, which costs money. So what would you do? You're in charge at Rose State. Should we just implement AVG free or implement forefront, which actually costs money?
Forefront. It's a little bit better, a little bit more.
And it's
secure.
manageable.
Right.
Like, it was funny because actually, right before he came in here, Ian was walking down the hall. Ken, are you in room 104? I said, he goes, you got keylogger. Well, I did. I actually had an email back in 2002. See, we have a scanner that scans my machines once a year, and I've actually kept every email since I got hired here in 2000, literally every single email. And I guess back in 2002, actually I remember somebody had sent me an example of a keylogger. It was zipped up in an email. Well, they finally detected it. So we went in and deleted it. Easy enough to do. But at the same time as when I told them to go fix my security issue, join the domain. But yeah, so really, decisions should not always be fund based. AVG is free, but I always tell people it's free for a reason. It's okay, but it's not the best option.
What if they were going to do AVG Pro or what's the
That right? That might make a difference at that point.
right?
Okay, behavioral. We have autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire. Okay, autocratic says reserve all decision makers responsible for themselves. Do as I say. What do you think? Good or bad? That's our current president. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, literally what's happened. It's kind of with the military. Isn't that how the military works? Pretty much you do what you're told. And, I kind of wish we had more of that here. We have a lot of adjuncts teaching classes. And have any of you had the principals class yet? Principles of Information Security 2503. We had an adjunct who taught it a few years ago who literally assigned the end of chapter questions and gave 2 tests. End of chapter questions didn't count for anything. Just had to do them. Didn't count at all. Just take 2 tests. I mean, how much did you guys actually learn from that? No. So that's why I went to the adjunct meeting to be this semester, told all adjuncts they need to start stepping up and do something because it's crap. Okay? Democratic, it says, seeks input from all interested parties, requesting ideas and suggestions. There's one thing missing on that. Seek input and hopefully implement based on input. We have an advisory committee here where they come look at our curriculum each year and say if we're on the right track. We do get input from it. Now, it doesn't mean we can make changes without them. Yeah, we could. But at least we get some ideas behind it. And the state regents say, hey, they're actually talking to, like we have the FBI on our advisory committee. So, does anyone know what the best scripting language is for security right now?
Python.
Okay, Python. Anybody else got any ideas? Well, that's exactly what our committee said. They said Python. You need to teach Python. So guess what? We're teaching Python. That's exactly where it came from. Laissez-faire, known as the laid-back leader, often sits back and allows the process to develop as it goes. Is that a good way of doing it?
No.
No.
There might be times that could be, if you think about it, we have a dean in this division. Should he be sitting there and says, autocratic, can you do this? Well, he really doesn't know what I teach. So would that be the best option? So maybe a combination of these. Maybe lay back and let me teach my classes and do what I need to do, but also direct as well. It's like he told me the other day, we have to do this faculty data sheet every year. I was, what did we do last year? It needs by this Friday. I told him I put it on my to-do list. It'll be at the bottom. But,
Isn't that what you have lackeys for?
no, I have to do that myself. But, so really, I wouldn't say any of these is great or terrible. You really need a combination of them. Okay. Okay, we have traditional theories that uses the core principles of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. Then we have the populars that uses core principles of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Okay, there's the big difference is the leading and the directing and the staffing and all that. Okay, there's a lot. The whole leading thing is kind of important. Okay, it's not do as I say. Do as I do. In other words, it'd be nice if people were out there. It's like if I was telling adjuncts to record their lectures, yet I did not record my lectures. How would that look? It's stupid. So, okay. says traditional management theory is often well covered by business courses. I took quite a few bachelor's and actually mainly master's level business courses. But we have a business degree here on campus, so there's a lot of information on that. Okay. Planning, that's the process of developing, creating, implementing. Think about what you're going to do. What's the saying? Those who don't plan fail or something. I can't remember what it is.
Fail to plan, plan to fail.
There it is. That's the one. I couldn't remember it. So fail to plan, plan to fail. Okay. I had a student this morning. I'm grading a Java program. I messed up. I told one class. See, in one class they had to do a flow chart, beginning class. The other class they had to do a program. Okay. I sent the email to the wrong class. But on Wednesday I fixed it and sent the correct email. So hey, sorry, this class needs to do, beginning class needs to do a flow chart. So I was grading his assignment today. He goes, well, I do not have a flow chart. I had my mind ready to write an entire program, so I could have written a program, but since you want the flow chart, I didn't get it done. Like, what? I said, that makes no sense. So you're telling me you could give me a completed finished product rather than the 2 seconds of planning a flow chart involves. That's literally what he told me. I'm sorry, I was ready to write an entire program, not make a flow chart, didn't complete it. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, strategic planning. We have that here in Rose State. High level, I've actually been in those meetings. Wow, take a gun and kill me. I hate those meetings. So what are we doing 5 years from now? You know, that kind of stuff. You know, I was actually at a training session in Microsoft years ago. Forget whatever I was there. But one guy came in from Microsoft, and his job was 10 years out. Because I don't look what we're doing today, next year. He goes, I look what we're doing 10 years from now. That's some serious strategic planning. That's what his position was at Microsoft. What are we doing in 10 years? I mean, obviously this cell phone will be gone. Computers will be gone, 2 years? But when do you think we get rid of computers? For the most part.
30% sales decline in the last year. Projected path on an institutional level is 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, so I'm thinking 5 years we won't have computers anymore. I mean, email is easier on my phone than on my desktop. So, you know, but strategic planning, big deal, you know. Highest levels of organization, that's where you get a lot of people involved. But it helps with like funding. Okay, you know, a couple years ago, when we were in a budget slump, we bought a new bus. New bus for the school. It was like, wait a minute, we have no money for raises, no money for anything, yet we're buying a new bus. They had a great answer for that. The answer was, well, it's been on the strategic plan for 10 years. We've actually been budgeting for it for 10 years. So now we actually have the money to buy the bus without getting new money. Now, yeah, they could have taken that money and bought something else with it, but the point was they actually had a plan. They actually thought about it for years, put the money aside. You know, there's a website called Smarty Pig. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called Smarty Pig. I love it. You set goals. Like I set a goal of my homeowner's insurance. No, well, let's do taxes. Y'all pay taxes, hopefully. But I pay taxes every December. My house is $3,400 a year in taxes. So would it be a great idea to wait till December 15th and say, crap, I need $3,400? No. I go to Smarty Pig, it's free by the way, and I set a goal that on December 15th I need $3,400. And what it does is it tells me how much I need to save each month. And I link it with my my checking account. Then every month, on whatever day I tell it, automatically takes out the exact money required to reach $3,400 by December 15th. And I get interest, 0.75%. A current savings account's getting like 0.01. I'm getting 0.75, which is a lot more. But I do that for everything. I do that for any bill that I pay once a year. I have a goal for. I have a security system. My camera's at home. I pay for that subscription once a year. So, I mean, if you don't have something like that, I recommend it's free. SmartyPig.com. It's great. Tactical planning. Focus on production planning that integrates the organization's resources at a level below the entire organization. What are you know, we got the managers up here, but how are we going to start implementing it? Okay. And operational, the day-to-day operations. Okay. Many different levels of planning here. Okay. Comes, starting the plan. We pretty much talked about that already. Let's talk about objectives for a second. Objective is an intermediate point that allows you to measure progress towards a goal. So my objective, or the school's objective, is to replace the LRC. If you haven't noticed, it's happening today. I would hope that they have, okay, old building torn down, step one. Steel raised, step two. I hope they have that set up. I don't know if they do. Actually, another example is I have solar panels at my house. I'm getting 31 new ones added. So basically, I have a zero electric bill here very shortly. The project manager called me Friday because they have someone managing the project. They're going to come out to my house, spend a day and a half. They're actually coming from Texas and do this. So I'm hoping along the way, they have, okay, we're going to do this first. Can you just imagine they all show up and like, oh crap. Because he needed pictures of my circuit breaker panel and all this other stuff so we could come up with a plan of how to implement it. It's kind of what we're talking about. What, things that are going to happen along the way. Okay.
About your solar panels, I mean, if you're going to be electric free, aren't you going to get penalized for it?
No, because I actually have a net metering system. What that means is, right now, at this moment, during the day, I'm generating more electricity than I'm using. So my electricity is flowing back to OG&E.
But don't you get charged extra for even putting power back on the grid?
No, because I got mine before that happened.
Loophole.
Right. Mine was in place first. And then tonight, when I'm not generating power, I'm pulling back from OG&E. So more panels during the day, I'm going to be giving OG&E a bunch of power, then at night taking back. But the net effect will be a zero electric bill. But you're right, they did get this new deal where there's a fee now to do that. But mine was in place before the fee. And the cool thing is, during the summer months, they have something called the time of use or the smart hours plan. I generate a lot of power during 2 to 7 when it's expensive. And I use it when it's cheap. So that's going to be sweet. Because it actually says, it shows, when did I generate it? Oh, 2 to 7. That's going to be awesome.
Really long extension cord, go plug it into his outlet.
Okay, so, did I miss one? Okay. So organizing, a management function dedicated to the structure of resources. Put it all together in the right way. Department, staff, personnel, raw materials. Hopefully those solar guys are going to, actually he said he's going to have it delivered to my house very quickly here. Then they're going to come out and install it. Okay? Leading, supervising, keeping track, attendance. Roy comes in when he wants, for the most part, but he works pretty much. But we should keep it. Heck, even my attendance, I have to account for myself here, even though I put in way too many hours. But keeping track of all this stuff, is a big. And the dean signs off on my timesheet every month. Okay. All right, controlling says monitoring progress toward the completion. We had issues with the LRC. The LRC was lower than the water table area in that area over there to cause issues with the foundation. And there was issues with the roof. And once they got the walls removed, they found other issues. So they've been monitoring it and making changes. So originally supposed to open December 2016. I bet maybe May of 2017. Because they found issues. The Health Sciences building, I don't know if you've never seen this one over, not Health Environmental Sciences, but the other Health Sciences building. It was funny because they had a sign on there that said opening in 2005. Opened in like 2009. Because they were many years late on that. So it was crazy. Okay, the manager should review all this, make sure we're making progress, and so on and so forth. Okay, here's a process where I don't want to run out of time. Okay. So the control process, compare actual performance, is stuff happening? If not, we need to make changes, and so on and so forth. Okay. With the LRC, wow, we found a problem, so we need to interject into our plan to fix the ceiling or the roof, and interject to fix the foundation. So they're always having to fix that. Okay, and I live right off of Choctaw Road, I-40 and Choctaw Road, and they're widening that road. And they told us it would not be closed, except for maybe a minute or two as they're moving it. So it's been closed for weeks. Let it have been closed since Christmas. Luckily, I go south on the road, and my housing addition's right there before it's closed, which is good for me. But, actual performance, I didn't see anybody out there this weekend. You know, here's my opinion. Why don't we get people working on 24/7? What was it, California, when they had those big earthquakes a few years ago? They paid the contractor bonuses if they finished early, and they got billions of dollars by finishing like 75 days early. Imagine if we told people here, you know what, you get that LRC done by September, we give you whatever. No. Because literally, nobody was working on Charter Road all weekend. Okay, we have someone working on it during sunlight hours, but get a big ass light. Let them work at night. You know?
Texas, they even do their construction
Yeah,
at night.
they need to.
Which is genius, and we would get our roads completed if we do it at night and less construction workers killed or hit.
See, I worked in Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. I worked day shift, evening shift, and night shift. We varied all the time. Can you imagine if the Air Force just stopped? Up, 4:30, closing down. Now, a lot of aspects of it do, but a lot don't. Okay? So, you know, and you can measure that. Is it actually happening? No, get more people on it. So, you know, that's a whole other story.
Imagine if you needed, like, something for, like,
Sorry, we're closed. Yeah, I mean, we literally would need airplane parts at 3 in the morning. And there was always somebody at supply we could call and get the part. And I'll tell you what, a lot of times it was quicker to get parts at night because it's literally just those people helping us. And it's not like, you know, they're like, okay, here, just get it and we'll do the paper tomorrow. It's
Yes,
awesome.
and a dedicated logistics wing is very expensive.
Yes, it is. But we had to have it. We had to have it. Okay. Okay, solving problems is recognize and define the problem. What is the problem? The problem is we have a cable sitting here on the floor that I could trip and break my legs. Okay, that's a problem. Gather facts. Well, there's a cable sitting on the floor. We gathered that. Possible solutions. Put a stupid yellow thing. Makes it worse. Still driven. We could move the electrical plug. Well, you know what? Someone could say, yeah, but then we have to run an entire new electrical circuit all the way from the circuit breaker panel, which is right there. See, they have no excuse in this room. It's literally right there on the wall. But, you know, so how could we fix it? Well, we could put a plug right there. I mean, that's what baffles me.
Or you could move the desk, or
Yeah.
you could duct tape
The
it.
desk used to be in the middle there, but okay. But we come up with different technologies, and the problem with technologies is how often do technology change? Every 35 minutes? That's I hate buying something because, you know, tomorrow it's going to be better. Sucks.
And on sale.
Yes. And then, you know, select, implement, evaluate a solution. Okay. So, we're going to run out of time. Okay. So, some things. Planning, policy, programs, protection, people, projects, all that stuff that pertains to information security. We already talked about planning for the most part. Okay. But what about what about incident response? So, do we have a plan in place for a flood? I don't know. I doubt we will get a flood here, but is there a possibility? Yeah, we could have a water main break. Okay, we got sprinkler system, which, yeah, it's in our building. We've never had it before. These are all brand new sprinklers. So now we have this high pressure water line in the building. So is there a plan if that line breaks? I don't know. Business continuity planning. Do we have something that's basically keeping our business running? Do we have something to help us in case something happens? You know, so we lost electricity. How are we going to continue to teach classes? If it was just for one class, we cancel it. But what if, you know, it was going to, what was it? Didn't some high school just get wiped out by fire this last week or something? Just some high school in Oklahoma burned down, the entire high school. So I would hope they would have some continuity plans so they can still teach those schools. Because I can see that, well, whatever your current grade is in high school, we're going to call it quits. No, that's probably not going to work. Okay, disaster recovery. What happens after that flood, or that tornado, or that whatever? Okay, we did have. There it is. We have our new emergency cards that no one's looked at. We have them now. Case of disaster. Go read that real quick. Okay, okay. Policy planning, personnel planning. Do we have policies in place? Do we have people to implement them? And roll out this new awesome whatever we're doing. This new electrical cord for me. Okay, risk management planning, security program. You know, there's a lot. We actually have a risk management person here on campus to help manage risk. It's an important thing. But I've been telling them, Rose State will fall victim to a cyber attack. Positively sure it's going to fall victim. Just don't know when. It's going to happen, everybody. Okay. So, policies, a lot of different types. We have enterprise policies. The entire campus will do this. Okay? Or it could be issue specific. We have a password policy, something like that. System specific, we have a specific policy for going in there and messing with the sprinklers. I'm assuming they would not want everybody in the sprinkler room and messing with those dials. Hopefully they have something, maybe it's locked, haven't tried, but it could be something for a specific system. It could be for a specific issue, or it could be for the entire campus. Okay. All right, programs, we have security programs out there. Okay. Security Education and Training Awareness Program. Okay, we have what's called the CAE2Y, Center of Academic Excellence here at Rose State, because we have a training program in information security, which is what you're enrolled in. Okay, we could also have a physical security plan. Okay, we have cops on campus, which is awesome. So we have a somewhat of a planner. All those cops there 24 hours? No, but we do have a security force, which is supposed to be here 24 hours. And yeah, I say that front door, I get here at 6:15, 6:30 every morning. Now I'd say at least once a week that door's not set right. I mean, it's hard. There's a button, on. And then there's also, on open or on closed. I tell you, I called them about a month ago complaining because they turned the door on, but they turned it on auto closed, which means it kept it shut. And so you could exit the building and it kept the door shut. So I go to the door and it's not opening. So I go to open it. I open it a little bit, with my fingers. Then I put my fingers in to open the door and it goes slam right on my hands. I was like, I got pissed. I called them and they're like, no, we said it correctly. I'm like, no, you didn't. They're like, well, we're going to have to review the cameras because someone must be screwing with it. I'm like, you walk through at 6 o'clock. There's no one else between you and me. So it's crazy. But, so physical security, I would hope that Tinker has a little bit better physical security than we do. Which we know they do. And I tell you, there's one guy on Tinker that always asks me, can I have a dash cam recording all the time? You're not allowed to record on base. There's one guy, he's the only one who realizes there's a dash cam. And he always tells me to unplug it, which I usually try to do anyway. But Virginia borrowed my car yesterday, and she didn't. And she happened to get that one guy who cares, and she's like, did you unplug your camera? So but that's their policy. So all right. How about customer privacy? Hopefully you all would like us to keep your grades private. I mean, years ago we used to post everything on the door. Can't do that anymore because somebody will complain. Okay. Execute with the risk management, we have risk assessment. What is the risk of me tripping? Well, probably pretty high. My old office was 131. You walked in the door, there was 2 chairs. Jerry Tittle, a faculty at the time, came in and tripped, fell down, and basically broke her wrist in her elbow. Was out for 6 months. Just walking into my office, her foot got caught. It was those kind of chairs. Foot got caught in that little metal thing, slammed, and broke it in 2 places. So that's a risk. So we have risk here. Heather's got her chair backwards. That could be a risk. Okay. How can we prevent this stuff? What kind of mechanisms do we have in place? Is there any technologies we can use to make it better? We have virus scanners to protect against viruses. How about tools? Like now we have automated lights in all the rooms. That's a tool or a technology you could call it. Okay. All right. People and projects. This is people are most critical link, but they need to be trained because a lot of them are. Does anyone know what the turnover rate is at McDonald's? 600% a year. That means every job position in McDonald's is swapped out 6 times a year. So how much training do you think they get? I did a mystery shop at McDonald's maybe 3 weeks ago. Day 1 employee was working the cash register. Wow, did he suck so bad. But it's, I reported it, but I felt sorry for him. What got me is all the people standing behind him waiting to work while he processed orders. It's like, you got 2 more cash registers, come here, and no, they never did. It was crazy. So that's why they hired me to go out and do these. So it says each process undertaken by the group should be managed as a project. So if we implement a new XYZ, hopefully we have to make this project for this new XYZ, and then we implement it correctly. Maybe a new firewall or something. Okay. Project management. Project management is a big issue. We actually have a class on campus here. I actually been to official project management classes. Like I told you, that guy's going to come out and install my solar stuff. Is the project manager going to do any of the work? Probably not. But he's going to know to hire the qualified electrician and the qualified this guy and get the permit and get the whatever and get the to get it done. So it's funny because the guy who sold me the system is no longer with the company. So when the project manager calls me, I says, "Did he tell you?" "Oh no, he didn't," because there was a lot of special stuff about my installation he's going to have to do. So, but also project management measures progress, adjusted as needed. Unlike our road, where they're not doing anything. Okay. So those projects are discrete sequences of activities. You could have an entire, like Rose State's upgrade is an entire project, but there's different components underneath that project. So this building is technically done. Not really done, but it's technically done. Yeah, like Friday they were changing up floor tiles again. Okay. Well, it's temporary assembling of group to complete the project, and you might hire someone to do something. And we hired someone to come and run new fiber. When they were done, they left. Okay, so it says after it is done, they were released, so on and so forth. Okay, could be a budget. Maybe you hired someone to make a budget. Okay? A lot of people do that. They hire an accountant to do their taxes. Okay. Another common practice is the creation of a sequence of projects. So we're going to do the business building, then we're going to do the science and math building, which is supposed to be done on February 1st. So I don't see it happening, but all right. Project 3: benefits of management skills. If you get someone who's good at this, it's awesome. Okay, I rewired a building for aerospace reports, and I tell you, they got me involved before they ran it, so I was able to run the wiring. It's good because the ceilings are actually sealed. In other words, sheetrock, and it was 2 stories, so you had a ceiling and a floor where you could not get between it. So luckily I ran all the wires ahead of time and had everything done. But the funny thing was, they actually sheetrocked over some of my wall jacks. So I put the box on the wall where the wire came down, but they actually just sheetrocked right over it. So I ended up putting a tone generator on one end of the wire and having there it is, following all the way down the wall. So it stopped. They cut a hole, pulled the wire out. It's crazy. But it's project management, a big deal. Okay. We're not going to finish in time. Okay. Benefits of them, again, a lot. They keep track of everything. Without a project manager, now if it's a teeny tiny little project about, moving a desk into a room, probably don't need a project manager. But if it's someone, like upgrading the business building at Rose State, hopefully it had a project manager or multiple. Okay. So success when it's completed on time or early. Nothing's ever completed on time or early, it seems. Actually, this building was completed on time. Yet they've been, literally Friday, they were here changing floor tiles again.
But this building is the only building that they had the least amount of time to do.
Right, yeah, they had a very short time. I mean, think about it. The math and science, they actually have labs, big stuff in them. So they have a little more time over there, but,
But they even, in the buildings over there, they had like 2 or 3 months to do. This one,
they only had
a couple
just the summertime. May to August or something. But okay. How about this? It meets all specifications outlined. Like meets the requirements. Did you know that the upgrade of this building included no wall work whatsoever? In other words, don't touch the walls. They actually moved the wall in the men's room. They had to move it by about 2 inches into room 131, my old office. So when they were done, I'm like, hey, you guys like gonna paint this wall or something? Nope, not included in the contract. I'm like, you literally moved the wall. So the guy came out on a Saturday. He was like, you do realize I'm doing this on my own time. I said, what? He goes, yeah, there was no wall work in this contract. I'm like, you guys moved the wall. It's not like, you literally made a new wall. Nope, not included in the contract. I'm like, what? Stupidest thing ever. But he did paint it. Okay. It says to apply to InfoSec, you must select a project management methodology. How are we going to do that? And there's the project management what's called BOK, Book of Knowledge, where there's a lot of information out there. Okay? And we are never going to finish. What slide are we on? We're on 38. 64. Okay, we're going to do a couple more, but then we're going to call it quits. Now I'll have to finish this on my own, I guess. Okay. But project management is the big issue. Okay? It talks about how it works in with community, how it works with technologies, and it just, I don't know, it's cool. Project managements get paid tons of money if you ever want to get making a lot of job. You can also get the PMI certification, Project Management I, whatever I is. Bet you can get that. And then they talk about here something about scope creep. In other words, this is a little bit behind, so that's a little behind, makes this more behind, and then sooner or later you're behind by a bunch. Okay, so they're in charge of all that. Time management's the big issue. Deadlines. What about storms? I mean, what if we were a project manager for a job up in D.C. right now? Aren't they like under snow for what they say, Grand Central Park, whatever, in New York, at 26 inches of snow, the most snow recorded at one time at that location. What if you're a project manager or fixing a road there? You won't be fixing much road. Okay. All right. And they work on sequencing. There's actually really, really good software for project management. If you've never played with it, we're not going to do it in here, but it's awesome. They might show a picture of it. Actually, they didn't show many pictures. They probably won't. But it has Gantt charts and everything else where you can really put stuff in. It's just amazing. Okay. Involves a lot of planning, resource planning, cost estimating, budgeting, all that stuff. So there's a lot of aspects of project management. We're almost done with project management. Quality management. Did it get done correctly? Okay. It says deliverables in unambiguous terms. In other words, stuff people could read. Okay. It says establish a team to determine at each step whether all components are meeting specifications. Did they have someone make sure the restroom was done correctly before they moved on to the next step? I don't know, but you would hope they would. Okay. Quality planning, quality assurance, quality control. Make sure it's done correctly, and also human resource. Okay. Do you have enough people? We had actually the old health science building had an issue with that because they started that construction project right when Oklahoma came out with that new ruling. You cannot hire anybody that's not a U.S. resident. The contractor literally came to the school and says, "Whoa, nearly my entire workforce will be illegal aliens." Because the school said, "No, it won't." So that's why it was literally delayed by years. Because they were probably planning on going home. You ever go to Home Depot on a Saturday morning at like 7 o'clock? There's a ton of people out there, and they all just hop on trucks and go do stuff. They do a good job. But that's what the guy, I cannot believe the guy was on a government, for a state institution contract, was planning on using illegal workers. That's what they were doing. Okay. Too few people means it's not going to be completed on time. Too many can be inefficient, cost too much money, or also sometimes too many causes an issue as well. Okay. So, and how about the staff acquisition? You got qualified people. So this guy's going to come install my solar panels. Hopefully brings in a qualified electrician. When I had my first set of solar panels installed, they had a qualified electrician, but he never worked on solar panels. And since mine's a net metering system, the solar panels are literally plugged straight into my circuit breaker panel. There's no batteries or nothing. And literally the guy was like, "Okay, here's what the instruction says." He literally plugged it on and he goes, "This should theoretically explode." Like, "Oh, great." So he's over there going to flip the switch, and it didn't. So what happens is my panels actually generate electricity at 245 volts. A normal system is 240. So since mine's higher, it actually forces it back into OG&E's network, since it's a higher voltage. And he's like, no, this is going to explode. It didn't explode. Actually, it works fine. But, I still remember that. So would you consider him to be a good staff? I mean, he did the job. But would have been nice if we had someone who had done it before, who knew it's not going to explode, not freak me out. He was literally like, "This ain't going to work. This ain't going to work." And it actually did work. So, all right. So it must address, it says, not all workers operate at the same level of efficiency. That's why you fire them to somebody else. Okay. That's why McDonald's probably has such a high turnover rate. First of all, the job sucks. I bet a lot of the workers suck. Because you obviously get the highest qualified people. That's my goal some days, to get a job making fries. I will do that someday. That way I could quit. Because I've never had a job where I could just F you and quit. See, if I was a fry guy, I could do that. I could literally wait till it's really busy, just like throw them everywhere, F you, and walk out, and it wouldn't bother me. Someday I will do that. Okay. All right.
Says a lot about a man.
Yes. But come on. Have you ever? Most of you probably have jobs now where you could quit. I'm not quitting this job. I don't know if I got a better one, but I just want to do that. I've never literally had a job I can quit.
Storm off. You want to have like big dramatic, like.
Okay. All right. We're out of time. I will finish this chapter up and add a second part recording up there. So you'll have to watch it on your own. Since this is a hybrid class, we only meet once a week.